Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking on your hump day? We here at the Tom Gully Show hope, as always, that you are receiving the full, total, and complete amount of hump that you so desperately crave and you so rightfully deserve. Tonight, let me tell you about the Gibson SG guitar, an iconic guitar. And let me just tell you how this happened, that we're doing this show on this topic. There's a guy that comes in here. His name's SG Fanboy. And he makes some of the most incredible AIs of me. Some of them are highly celebrated and comedic and are used quite frequently. Some of them are, frankly, here to ridicule me, and I allow them to be showed for your amusement. And I'm showing this one because I know you like to laugh at it. Take a second, drink it on in. So this SG Fanboy guy, he's in here all the time. He's very generous as well. And I says to him, hey, what's SG Fanboy mean? And he tells me it's about the Gibson SG, which is a legendary guitar. And I says to him, you know what? If you're a fan of the Gibson SG, we're going to do a show on the Gibson SG. And this is that very special episode of the Tom Gully Show. Hey, and we'll do this. If you've got something you're interested in, let me know. I'm liable to do a show on them. If you could like, share, subscribe, retweet, all those free things so that we may serve the almighty algorithm. That would be great. We also have super chats here if you're so inclined. But please turn on your gifted memberships. I think there's some still hanging around there. You can get a freebie membership to the Tom Gully Show. And we do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as verified by independent sources. Peppy is here, says howdy. Howdy back at you. SG Fanboy says, Richard Christie voice, the SGs are my favorite. They're my favorite. I love when they tried to explain to Richard Christie what favorite meant, because everything was his favorite. No, your favorite means it's the number one. But they're all my favorite. Oh, God. Hey, and by the way, there's a person who plays the SG, the iconic guitarist for AC/DC. Hopefully he's playing Thunderstruck, which is my favorite song by them. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do today. In just about 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Tonight, immediately following this show, we'll be out of here in 58 minutes and 5 seconds. And then you can watch on the Levy channel Replayables with our good friend Chris Abels. And hopefully they'll run long because Aku's working late and somebody will hurl. My favorite episodes are when somebody hurls, although I do enjoy the episodes where their producer shaves his eyebrows off. That's who I hang with on the internet, folks. And frankly, I'm lucky that they talk to me. As usual, we begin the program. SG Fanboy has done some of his magic. There's the aforementioned Angus Young with My Face there. And again, hopefully he has just finished playing Thunderstruck. This is Tommy Iommi from Black Sabbath with My Face. And I do have to say, that is a really dead-on rendition of My Face. And this is Vaden Todd Lewis? Doggone it. He told me the name and everything. From the Toadies with My Face. And maybe even my haircut. Tony. Oh, did I say Tommy? I meant Tony. You know, actually, I was supposed to interview that guy for my podcast. He had just come out with a book, and the book he released was with a publisher I had a really close relationship with, and everything was set up, and then he got ill. I believe he was fighting cancer or something, so the interview got canceled. And I wrote a super nice note about, hey, I understand. That's take care of yourself, blah, blah, blah. And the publisher actually wrote me back and said, I forwarded your email, and he was very, very appreciative. And I thought, oh, very nice of him. So, yes. I could not use SG, the one with Les Paul, because it said right on it, Getty Images. And I know Facebook would take me to task for that, or Getty, one of the two. I work with Getty all the time. They're mercenary about that. And I guess they should be. They paid for the photos, and so they deserve to. But let it be known that SG Fanboy made an amazing AI of my face on Les Paul's body. Well, on his head. With a Gibson SG. So anyway, Toadies. Super underrated band. I agree. I'm a big fan of the Toadies. Sorry, couldn't find one with no watermark. Just chop it off next time. Then I have what we like to call in the business plausible deniability. Damn Google. By the way, hey, Tom. Hey, the Reverend is here. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing. And I got to tell you, I'm burning up. Why am I burning up? Well, because today I went over to that barbecue restaurant again at lunchtime and got a half a pound of brisket. And I also got the brisket queso. So I'm having the meat sweats like you can't believe right now. Sweating my tuchus off. Toby McGroby's here. Says, hey, guys. Hey, Toby. What's shaking, brother? And so, once again, replayables at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll be out of here for that. Lucas Malago. Hell yeah, Tom. Hell yeah. I like this. I'm going to put this one back up. Lucas, turn on your gifted memberships, man. You're liable to pick one up. The instructions are in the crawl at the bottom of the screen. Do that, and you can get a free gifted membership, and then you can watch our watch-along movie as a member on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And what was the movie that we're seeing? The thing that wouldn't die? Something like that? Remind me, and I'll try and find it so we can watch it. Which do you prefer, the Les Paul or the SG? Well, I'm not a guitar player, but I would say the Les Paul is not the one I prefer. I prefer the SG because SG Fanboy, I assume, prefers the SG. But they're all good. But Les Paul, I believe, invented the SG or had some hand in it. Nice. The Reverend says, Paused Up Patriot depends on what sound you want. That's actually true. That's actually very, very true. So, let me see. I think Aku says, upside of being a proficient air guitarist is you can buy any brand. Sure. Paz says, that's the right answer. That's the right answer. Right there. Hey, I better open up my thing. The show really doesn't start until I open up my thing. Which I will do right now. Which I, of course, will do right now. In honor of our good friend and benefactor, SG Fanboy. I didn't know Tom was in AC/DC. Just briefly. Let's see here. The Gibson SG is a solid body electric guitar model introduced by Gibson in 1961, way back there in 1961. And it followed the 1952 Les Paul Gibson. It's in production today, many variations. The SG Standard is Gibson's best-selling model of all time. And SG stands for solid guitar. It's solid rock. So the SG design was a thinner, more contoured body than the Les Paul and a double cutaway. So cutaway on a guitar construction is the indentation on the upper part of the guitar body. And as you can see in the picture I've got up right now, it has a cutaway on both sides. So that makes it a double cutaway. And not only did that make the upper frets more accessible, it was, a thing that allowed them to move the neck joint outwards by 3 frets. And so the simpler body construction significantly reduced the production cost. And the SG, with its slender neck profile and small heel where it joins the body, was advertised as having the fastest neck in the world. Now, although the new guitar was popular, Les Paul strongly disliked it. Problems with the strength of the body and the neck made Paul feel dissatisfied with the new guitar. And at the same time, Paul was going through a public divorce from his longtime wife and vocalist partner, Mary Ford, and his popularity was dwindling as musical tastes were changing in the early 60s, as we all know. Les asked lifelong friend and former president of Gibson, Ted McCarty, to withhold his $1 royalty per guitar. And Gibson mutually agreed to end the contract. And I assume he did that to cheat her in the divorce. But Gibson honored Les Paul's request to remove his name from the guitar as well. The early to mid 60s saw Gibson's parent corporation, the infamous Chicago Musical Instruments, revive the Kalamazoo brand name for a short time. Now, little side note, my first harmonica amp was a Kalamazoo. It was a Kalamazoo Twin, and it was amazing. I loved that amp. Later models of the KG1 and KG2 featured a body style similar to the Gibson SG, effectively creating a budget line model until Kalamazoo just dropped the brand in the late 60s. Gibson currently makes lower cost, internationally sourced versions of the SG at their subsidiary Epiphone. But because of ease of play, comfort to hold, popularity, and vintage heritage, the body style of the SG is often copied by other manufacturers, although much less frequently than the Les Paul and the Fender Stratocaster. So the SG generally has a solid mahogany body with a black pick guard. The neck joins the body at the 19th or 22nd fret. Now, early models had a smaller neck joint with a longer, what they call tendon. The neck design provided access above the 16th fret. Episode-made bolt-on neck models still use a 16th fret neck joint. The SG's neck set is shallower than the Gibson's Les Paul, guitar. The SG features the traditional Gibson combination of 2 or 3 humbucker pickups, or P90 pickups, and a tune-o-matic bridge assembly, wraparound bridge, or vibrato tailpiece, depending on the model. So the SG Standard, the standard, if you will, features pearloid trapezoid fretboard inlays, as well as fretboard binding and inlaid pearl Gibson logo and crown. The mid-level one features dot inlays and an inlaid pearl Gibson logo without a crown. The Standard has a volume and tone control for each individual pickup and a 3-way switch that allows the player to select either the bridge pickup, the neck pickup, or both together. The SG does not include switching to coil split the humbuckers in stock form. You got to have it worked on to do that. Some models you may use body woods other than mahogany, like swamp ash or birchwood, laminate, walnut. High-end models, including the Diablo, occasionally sport decorative maple caps, carved tops, and gold hardware. Yes, well. At the launch of the SG in 1961, Gibson offered 4 versions of the SG. The SG Junior, which was a strip down of the Standard, like the Les Paul Junior. The SG Special, which was nicer. The SG Standard, and the top-of-the-line SG Custom. As of 2010, Gibson's current core variants are the Standard, the Special. Over the years, Gibson has offered many variations of the SG and continues to manufacture special editions, including models such as the Special, the Faded Special, the Supreme, the Artist Signature SGs. You can probably guess what those are. the Menace and the Gothic, as well as premium-priced reissues of 60s standard and custom guitars. Models produced between 61 and 66 have the original small pick guard, and in late 66 it was redesigned slightly with a longer, more robust neck joint and a larger batwing pick guard. In 1972, the design went back to the original style pick guard and rear-mounted controls, but with the neck set then further into the body, joining roughly at the 20th fret. And these just have to deal with the length of the neck. In 1979, a low-cost SG made of walnut wood was introduced called just the SG. It had a clear finish and an ebony fingerboard and was accompanied by low-cost Les Paul and ES 335 type guitars. The Paul was made from walnut, but the S was made out of solid mahogany rather than the semi-body they used to produce, In 1980, the first SG manufactured with active factory pickups was introduced, and Gibson experimented with an SG that included the same Moog active electronics that had been previously used in another Gibson model, the RD Artist. The resulting SG had a slightly thicker body to accommodate the extra circuitry and was dubbed the Gibson SG R1. In 2008, Gibson introduced the Robot SG, which featured a motorized tuning system and limited edition variants of the SG Robot Special and the limited edition Robot SG LTD, or Limited. So the Robot system was designed to be convenient for players who need to frequently change tunings without requiring them to manually tune or carry several guitars. However, they were at a very premium price. For 2000 to 2009, Gibson had the SG Classic, which harkened back to the junior and special designs with bound mahogany fretboard, dot inlays, and two P90 pickups, and a thin 60s neck profile. 2009, Gibson introduced the Raw Power line of SGs, which have an all-maple body. In 2009, also brought the Guitar Center exclusive SG standards with Coley taps, available in both 50s and 60s style necks. In 2013, Gibson released the new Gibson SG Baritone. So there you go. Epiphone also offers a wide range of this kind of stuff, but they're the sort of budget SG. There are a number of unique SGs. Okay, so there's the Sister Rosetta Tharp. She played a Gibson Les Paul SG with 3 humbucking pickups customized with an old style vibrato on it. Angus Young, who I showed you, I think I've got another picture of him. Hold on. Well, he's behind me. That's right. He's the one that's behind me. He occasionally uses a custom-made SG with lightning bolt inlays, of course, based on a custom model originally produced by luthier John Diggins. Since then, Young has collaborated with Gibson to make the Angus Young SG, which features a custom-designed humbucker in the bridge and a 57 classic neck position, and of course the aforementioned lightning bolt inlays. Robbie Krieger of the Doors used a Gibson SG standard starting in 1965. Gibson produced a limited run of 150 SGs, which incorporate many of Krieger's favorite components of various SGs, so sort of a conglomeration. Eric Clapton, yes, the great Eric Clapton, used a 1964 Gibson SG Standard starting in 1967 while in cream. This guitar was known as the Fool guitar, as it was painted by the Dutch artists collectively known as the Fool. In spring of 68, the SG was loaned to Jackie Lomax, a friend of George Harrison. The Fool was later sold to Todd Rundgren for $500 before eventually being sold to a private collector for just a little more than that, $500,000. Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath. Let's get him up there. Let's get Tony up here. I think I got Tony here somewhere. Or are we just going to show me as, let's just show me as Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath. He owns several custom-made black left-handed Gibson SGs with white cross-shaped fretboard inlays Epiphone produces a similar guitar known as the Tony Iommi G400. Iommi's original SG, used on the early Black Sabbath albums, was a modified cherry red, left-handed 1964 SG Special with P90 pickups, which he nicknamed Monkey, after he added a sticker of a monkey playing a fiddle to the guitar. John Cipollina of Quicksilver Messenger Service used a custom SG with custom pick guards in the shape of bat-like figures. Mike Oldfield used a modified 1963 XG with guitar synthesizer pickup to control a Roland GR300 module for some of his guitar sounds on albums in the 80s, such as Crisis, Shadow on the Wall, Discovery, and others. So there you go. Some notable users of the SG. And these are just a very, very few, because a lot of people use these. I believe you know Mr. Frank Zappa. Yes, he was an aficionado of the SG. Perhaps some of you are familiar with a man by the name of Derek Trucks, of, I believe, the Derek Trucks band, but also before that, he was with, the Allman Brothers, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. And here's another gentleman, and this guy is a huge favorite of mine. A man by the name of Pete Townsend, who you might recall from a little combo known as The Who. So I don't know how many of those were destroyed by him, but I have to assume at least one, you know. Other notable users include, let's see here. Hold on. I'll just go through this. Dwayne Allman, although he normally used a Les Paul, he did use the SG from time to time. Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. Chet Atkins, who will play just about anything because he can. Jeff Beck was pretty much into Les Pauls, but he would also occasionally use an SG. Jethro Tull's guitarist, Martin Barr, uses a variety of Gibson models, including the SG. George Benson played one, and also other Gibsons until he got an endorsement deal with Ibanez, yeah. Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers Band. Also, did I get Derek Trucks wrong? Yeah, Derek was in Allman Brothers. Yeah, there you go. Let's see here. Oh, boy. Clarence Gatemouth Brown, big blues guy, was one that used it. Let's see here. I mentioned John Cipollina. I mentioned Clapton. Let's see here. Sheryl Crow uses so many guitars. A Gibson SG was bound to be in the list. Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult played a 69 SG. Bob Gibson plays an SJ. Bob Dylan, excuse me. The Edge from U2 uses a bunch of Gibsons, but an SG is one of them. So there you are. The Everly Brothers were known to occasionally use one of those. Let's see here. Jerry Garcia would use an SG. Although Billy Gibson from ZZ Top mainly uses a Les Paul 1959 Standard, he will occasionally use an SG. Let's see here. Dave Grohl will use from the Foo Fighters and Nirvana. He'll use an SG from time to time. I'm just going down through the list. George Harrison, might have heard of him. Jimi Hendrix would frequently use an SG Custom. So, that's a pretty good guitar player there, Jimi Hendrix. I mentioned Tony Iommi. Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance. Joan Jett normally uses her own Gibson Gibson signature model, and it's a melody maker, but she'll occasionally use an SG. Let's see here. I was going to say that guy used one. Mick Jones from The Clash. Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols. B.B. King used everything, but mostly they were Gibsons. Let's see here. Come on, show me an SG. Okay, Alex Lifeson from Rush occasionally plays a Cherry SG. Lonnie Mack is only going to use that Flying V, so we can't put him on the list. I'm a big Lonnie Mack fan. I played one night with Lonnie Mack, so it's a special kind of a thing. Let's see here. Let's face it, Paul McCartney can afford any guitar he wants, so he's got an SG. He's going to just have one to have one, probably. Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. Yeah, there's an SG in there for him. Some of these guys, they're just so... Keith Richards, there you go. He occasionally plays an SG. Gary Rossington, Leonard Skinner used Les Pauls and SGs. Carlos Santana used an SG Special on stage at Woodstock, so I guess he liked them. Let's see here. John Scofield. I know John. That can't be the same John Scofield. No, it's not the same John Scofield that I know. Bill Spooner from the Tubes uses an SG. Paul Stanley of Kiss uses an SG. Mick Taylor from the Rolling Stones will occasionally use an SG. Let's see here. Pete Townsend used an SG Special from 67 to 72. So how about that? Derek Trucks uses a modified Gibson USA SG 61 reissue with factory vibrola. Let's see here. Paul Weller. Snowy White. Ronnie Wood has one. It doesn't say that he plays it very often, but he does have one. Angus Young uses an SG. And, of course, produced the Angus Young signature SG. Neil Young uses several different Gibson guitars, and an SG is on the list, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a huge aficionado. So they're just some of the people that play the Gibson SG. And unless SG Fanboy wants me to Buddy Guy on occasion, Hendrix, I think I just said Hendrix, but if SG Fanboy wants to throw some observations into the chat, I will certainly, of course, read them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just a part. I know SG could fill us in a lot more of the legendary history, the iconic nature, and the lasting popularity of the Gibson SG, and the inspiration for the name. For the name Meat Sweats, for the name of a very generous, a very talented guy that has helped this show so much, and I can't thank him enough for it. And I got to do something nice for him. I don't know what it will be, but what do you get the man who has everything? So there you go. The Reverend says, Angus, Tom. Yeah, he's right there behind me. He's looking over my shoulder. Positive Patriot says they're right about the Speedy fretboard. Used to have one, loved it. Terry Nee says SG is awesome. Guitar also. That's all of our sentiments, I think. Red Wild Bill says, I still have a Silvertone guitar and amp. Thank you, sirs, for helping me drive the parents crazy. A friend of mine sold his Silvertone for a boatload of cash about 10 years ago. Thank you, Sears. Les Paul, more Ringo. I see what you did there. I have, Terry. I think we all need a little more cowbell. Yes, don't we all? I think my website somewhere, if you look really close on the TomGullyShow.com, and by the way, please like, share, subscribe, retweet, all those free things that you can do to help the almighty algorithm. And then also super chats, and also make sure those free, gifted memberships are turned on. The instructions are in the crawl. And then lastly, Tom Gully Show store at TomGullyShow.com. Get a mug. I should have plectrums there. That's what I really should have. The Wolf has joined us. The legendary Wolf. Hi, Wolf. Wolf on deck. People saying hi because we do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet. It's been verified by independent sources. Wolf is on deck. SG Fanboy says, my 61 Standard is currently suffering from a broken neck. Ow. My best friend you can go to see his work at Connor Guitart, GUITART.com. He mostly does Stratocasters, but he actually makes super custom electric guitars. Don't fear the Reaper. Well, no, I would never fear the Reaper. The Wolf says, my dad bought my brother an SG for his birthday. It was the guitar he used in his first band. Rod's drummer later became Henry Lee Summer. It had the #2 album on the charts during the 80s, and he had that big hit with I Wish I Had a Girl Who Walked Like That. And what's his real name? I've met him several times. Boy, was he a mether for a long time. But he had that big hit. The music video is really good. I wish I had a girl who walked like that. Ooh, yeah. Take a ride, Leroy. Anyway, the Wolf is saying hi. Don't fear the Reaper, cowbell, SNL, yes. If you look really close at my website, somewhere, maybe down on the right-hand side, the sidebar, I think still at the bottom, let's find out, shall we? I think it still says this website needs more cowbell. I can't be positive. It did for a long time. What is going on with, oh, that's the problem. We have to do this. HT. What's going on here with the Tom Gully Show? Is my website down? Man, oh man, I'm going to be salty with somebody if my website is down. Let's see here. Site can't be reached. Oh. I can circumvent that real quick. Network Solutions going to lose some business here. Okay. Yeah, my redirect is not working. And that angers me. Surprised nobody said nothing. Oh, that's bad. Because now I got to get on the horn with Network Solutions, which is never fun. And no, I don't see my little, this website needs more cowbell. And I see I got to update the copyright on it too. I haven't really. And my Twitter feed is not doing what it's supposed to do. I got to work on my website this weekend. That's really bad. Okay, so Rod plays a Strat now, I think. Okay. SG rocking it again, that's true. Late 60s, I always wanted a black Gibson after Peter Frampton. Trucks is awesome. Trucks is really awesome, that's true. By the way, Grand Funk Railroad is touring again, and I can't get enough of their love. Derek was in Allman Brothers, yes. Who is one of your favorites, Tom? One of my favorite what? Zappa says guitarists. I like Joe Bonamassa. Pretty good. Others. Zappa. I don't know of a guitarist that doesn't have an SG in their collection. Yes, Jeff Beck, the late great Jeff Beck. Unknown Henson plays an SG, I think. Hendrix played an SG for a short time. Yep, he was on the list. Buddy Guy, I played with Buddy Guy one time. I meant Wes Watson, not Wes Hampson. My bad, neighbor. Yeah, that was yesterday, dude. You came in, you derailed us yesterday. Now I got to look up the other guy you just said. Wes Watson. Jesus. Okay, let's just see who you're trying to direct me to here. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. I gotta call Net Solutions. Man, I really don't. Wolf is sipping yerba and smoking a Macanudo Inspirando 6x50, loving the Southern California sun. He's out there having fun in the warm California sun. Frampton uses 1954 Gibson Les Paul Custom. All these guys have one they're noted for, but they also have other guitars. So Joe Montemassa was used at SG, but he owns all the Les Pauls. Wes Watson has an SG. Okay. Tom, did you catch the indie pics the Mule sent me? I did. And I've met one of those other guys. I met the chief, of course, but I met one of those other guys. Another great history lesson from Professor Gully. Well, you're welcome, Tom. Don't forget to thank SG Fanboy. Yes, and if you like the history lesson, thank SG Fanboy. Les Paul was the man to the end. Hank Schwartz was Henry's real name. Yeah. Darren from System of a Down plays one. That's cool. Maybe you're being hacked, Tom. No, I'm not being hacked. Network Solutions. If you have renewable services with them, they bill you like 3 months in advance. And I just got sick of that. So I made all of the services terminate, and I usually get a notification, a whole bunch of notifications from them. But they hammer me with marketing emails, and I said, take me off all those. I'm sick and tired. I know what I want. They've done other things. They created a .net for me. And it's a free website. We're putting it on our servers and everything else. I said, do you realize that shows up in searches and that my web code is written for .com, so all the links won't work and stuff? So I don't know. I don't know. Hank was part of that Brazil state champ team. Hey now. So SG Fanboy. Buddy Guy, I don't know if they were actually relatives. They always said they were cousins, but he used to play sometimes with a guy named Governor Davis, who was big in Indianapolis. And I played with Governor Davis. So that's how I got to play with Buddy Guy. Warren Kyle was also on that team, and Rod's bass player, leading scorer on that team. Well, Indiana basketball really infects everything. So now I got to tomorrow probably at my lunch break, call up Network Solutions. They're going to ask me for my customer number, and I'm just going to go, really? Really? My customer number? Yeah. I'll answer their security question, and then I'll go through all my services and say, yeah, turn that on for a year, turn that on for a year, turn that on for a year. But I like to buy the services 5 and 10 years at a time so that I don't have to mess with it. So I have what's called a redirect from my URL. So when people go to the TomGullyShow.com, they are redirected to my Blogspot page, which is housed by Google. It's easier to assemble. It's in the Google system, and they don't like that. And they're always trying to, why don't you get, the payphones are on. Stop it. So they always are like, we can host your site for blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, do you charge me for traffic over a certain amount? Well, yes, we do. Google doesn't. It's free. End of sales pitch. Well, but people that go to your thing are going to get there and see that it's blog. No, people aren't going to care. Once they get to the site, they're going to use the site. They're not going to care. Jerks. So let me just see what replayables tonight. In just about 21 minutes and 12 seconds, we'll be out of here. We'll be totally out of here. But that bugs me because I send people to that site, and it can't have been down for long. So I'll get that straightened out. Toot sweet. Let's see here. Come on. Chop, chop. Come on. That really burns my bacon. That really singes my drawers. It's actually a little bit my fault. It's just a pain to deal with them. What the heck's this? Somebody sent me some weird text. Man, that is really strange. I get texts to my Skype number that I use for this show. There's some gold sniping guy wants me to join his group or something. I don't know. I didn't know those indie pics existed. Yes, they were merely in legend and lore before you found those pics. Me wearing a one-of-a-kind hat. Yes, and the chief not wearing a shirt. Showing off that physique. An amazing physique. All right, let's take this down. And let's also say that our phone lines are open right now. 972-994-6822. There you go. And I played with Lonnie Mack at the Slippery Noodle in Indianapolis, and I was playing with a band, and for some reason, I think maybe for the Indy 500, he was in town, and he got up on stage and played with us because we were the house band. So, that's when you turn your harp amp down a little and just kind of stay in the background. I think we'll just let him handle the solos. Powerhouse, explosive physique. Yes. Quick feet, wiry. Cords of muscle. SG Fanboy says, was Buddy Guy a cool dude? Please tell me he was a cool dude. He was a very cool dude, but he was super weird. Yeah, he was really kind of weird. But not in a bad way, but he was very eccentric. That's a better way to put it. Very eccentric. Although, when it came time for my solo, and he was wearing like a jumpsuit. He was wearing like a one-piece suit that was zipped way down. He was sweating like crazy. He has those teeth, those perfect teeth. Big chiclet, perfect teeth. And when it came time for my solo, he turned around to me and he said, "Make it so funky I can smell it." Which I'd heard him say on albums and stuff before, and I went, oh, man. And then at that point, I very, very clearly recall getting down with my bad self. Yes. I played that one good lick I know. Not as cool as Dizzy Gillespie. No, not that cool. SG Fanboy, weird is fine, just so... No, he was not in any way. He was very friendly. He was very cool. Yeah. No problems with Buddy Guy. And then one time, and when I played with Buddy Guy, I played with Buddy Guy at Buddy Guy's. And the blues, it was Governor Davis and the blues somethings that I can't remember now. I used to know. I used to know lots of things, and then I started not knowing things, and it's much better to know things. Now I got to write a big note. A big note. Man, oh man. I got to sit right down and write myself a letter. I had to underline things. You know, it was awful. My email's still working. I hope my disguising all of my information is still working. What the trolls would do with that. Ah, yes, that was it. History we lived, yes. You are correct, SG Fanboy. You must have looked up Governor Davis, who I don't even know if he's still alive. Somebody told me he passed away. The Blues Ambassadors, that's who we were. Governor Davis and the Blues Ambassadors. Note to self. Self. Yes. Yes, good old Governor Davis. Good old Governor Davis. Governor Davis was not as cool as Buddy Guy by a long shot. And when I was playing with the house band there, some of these guys would come through, and they'd play in a couple of towns before, and they'd go to Dayton, and they'd go to Cincinnati, go to Dayton, and then Indianapolis, and then Chicago. And in Chicago, they probably had some guys they knew, and he had a band. But some of these older blues guys with three names, one of them was a location, one of them was, Mississippi Steve, they would come through, and they would I'm not looking up. Well, maybe I should. They would come through, and we'd be playing some of their songs. We'd have a quick run through, and it's the blues. It's a progression. It's not. And these guys, a couple of them, I remember, go, play it like it is on a record. And we were all looking at each other like, we've never heard your stupid record. You know that record that was popular for 4 seconds? Yeah, none of us have heard that ever. Hi, and welcome to the Tom Gully Show. We are honoring the late, great Governor Davis, who passed away in October of 2021. I'm assuming of COVID.
Hello, Mr. Gully.
Yes, sir.
I'm very pervish.
Yes, well, I try to be pervish as often as I can. You know, Governor Davis is a Ball State graduate.
I would suspect so. All the important people are.
Exactly. Exactly. That's right.
By the way, that is the illustrious Deathmobile that we are around. The black vehicle you can see.
And the pictures that you sent?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
It is the Deathmobile.
I couldn't look at those pictures because I was working and doing things, and I knew all the mayhem that was associated with those trips to the Indy 500. So I even looking at them would send my mind into a maelstrom of carnage and booze.
Small little babies, a couple of years old, swimming in mud puddles, and it was just a free-for-all of 425,000 people.
Little babies swimming in mud puddles. One of the jobs you could get if you lived around Indianapolis was the 2 days or 3 days after the 500 was over, they would hire a whole bunch of kids to pick up trash and clean things in the infield of the Indy 500. And there would be burnt out cars and RVs, hundreds of couches just left, refrigerators, things that you were like, first of all, how did it get in here? And yes, you would see little babies just crawling through the infield, and you'd be like, what? Where are the parents?
That particular car was in all the newspapers and on all the news channels. We proceeded to destroy that car Well,
You're
about
you're
3,000 or 4,000 people watched it.
you're kind of your audio is kind of faint.
Hold on. What about now? Can you hear me?
Oh, good Lord. Yes, that's the wolf I know.
Well, I've got my earphones in,
I got you.
my open, I think they're called Open Pro, but they hang over your ear. They're the only ones I can keep in my ears. But you have audio on them too. It's not always that good, but
Yeah.
they, they get groups of 4 and 5 of the largest police that they can find in the city and send them out. And generally, any of the people causing mayhem get clubbed in the head and left to lay because the emergency rooms are all full.
Well,
They watched us, looked at each other, looked at us, looked at each other, and then moved on.
well, they've gotten rid of the snake pit, but the snake pit used to just be like, it was the Olympics for debauchery. If you were a teenage boy that had never seen ladies without clothes on, you just went over to the snake pit. Now, you didn't necessarily want to see these ladies because they weren't exactly all Miss America, but
not by any stretch of the imagination.
And in a world where tattoos were uncommon, they were not uncommon in the snake pit.
No.
Yes.
We always dubbed it the pageantry. Those guys would go down on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and a guy that owned property right across from I was on 16th. I keep thinking it was Gate 8 or something that they opened. They'd shoot off that cannon, and then everybody would hop in their cars and sprint for the gate.
Yeah.
And all of us are so big that this car you could hear the bottles and feel them rolling underneath the bottom of the car as we drove along.
Yeah.
And no one would let us in, so myself and a couple of others would look at them with our dark sunglasses on and yell, "I hope you've got full coverage," and they would put on their brakes and let us in. That particular time, Lance Terry, the only one I know of who got a ticket for going out of his way to hit a puddle and splash a pedestrian, was at the wheel. And Lance would look around at me, grin, and then floor it.
Oh, yeah.
We had that particular one, the guy that was running the gate and taking the money Chief yelled, "Hey, somebody throw him a 20. So that we did. He grabs the 20, then grabs onto the side of the window that didn't exist and looks in and says, "Hey, wait a minute." And Lance grinned at me and floored it, and we drug him down the road. As we went under the bridge, yeah. Mario Andretti's entire pit crew was cheering us on.
For those who don't know, there's a bridge. There's actually two bridges. There's one on each side where you go under the track.
Yeah.
You actually go under the track, and on one side you're on the outside of the track. The other side you're going under near pit row, and that must have been where you were going it.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
And those guys used to party with us. So they'd come out usually on Thursday, I want to say. It was before Carburation Day, and they would hang out and drink off the keg. And
yeah, the Tuesday preceding is Carburation Day, which of course they don't have anymore because there's no more. Well,
nope.
Maybe now. Yeah, there's no more carburetors. Toby McGrovey is gifted 1 Tom Gully Show membership. Thank you, Toby. But the drivers and the pit crews back in those days were, you could party with them anywhere you wanted to. They were major partiers.
Yeah. And that car, there were several people that I knew from school actually that were in the dorm with me. And they couldn't believe what they were watching. I left that car with a brick on the accelerator with the engine wide open.
In neutral?
And before we had even pulled away from there, a group of people turned that car over, hit the gas tank, and tossed a lighter into it and set it on fire.
Yeah, and there were dozens and dozens and dozens of burnout cars, burnout RVs, refrigerators turned over. You opened them up, and they were just full of empty beer cans. Just the weirdest stuff you've ever seen. Oh, mannequins. There was a small city's population worth of mannequins there for some reason.
One of those particular mannequins probably traveled in. It had a toga. They were in front of us. They were there every year, and they had it standing up, and they had done a hacksaw on it, and they'd cut half of the top off of that station wagon, and it was standing upright with the arm up in the air, this toga blowing off of it. And that was probably one of those mannequins that you saw.
Yeah. I did that when I was a kid. Carburation Day was senior skip day for every high school in the Indianapolis area. So all the seniors at all the schools just skipped and went to Carburation Day and, did what you might imagine, got blind drunk. Doc Dorn says, wow, we need to bring back days like that. They're never coming back.
Nope.
Toby
They're
says,
gone and
exploded your car.
The annals of history.
He says, exploded your car. Them guys sound like real jerks. Well, I think the wolf's intent was to leave the car the entire time.
Yes, with the engine wide open, the accelerator all the way to the floor.
He, like many people.
I'm wondering if you met Big John at the combine.
I met. Didn't Big John come and visit you one time at Ball State?
John, no.
Well, are we talking about two different guys? Are you talking about Fitz?
Yes. He was the one standing up with the jacket on and the cowboy hat on.
Right. No, I know who he was. I thought for sure he came and visited you, maybe just to pick you up one time at Ball State.
No. He was at Purdue then.
I know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of where I met him because I did meet him.
Well, let's just say that he was infamous at the combine, and when he died, they left a black 10-gallon hat, a 10-gallon Stetson hat on the 50-yard line to commemorate his visits to the combine.
Yeah. Well, I got to get out of here because Replayables is coming on in 3 minutes.
All right. Yeah, it's.
Hey, let's do a show on either the snake pit or the infield. There's got to be a ton of info and pictures on
my
that.
favorite being the bathrooms that were just basically an open hole with a gigantic bridge plank with holes cut in it.
Well, or what about the troughs? The ones where you went in and the urinals were just a wall that was nothing but a giant trough that wrapped around the whole entire room. And it was just a great way to get peed on by a drunk guy. But
Only
anyway.
to be outdone by El Cajon Speedway's wall of urinals that had water running down through them constantly.
Yes. All right, man. Thanks for calling.
All right.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, bye. That's the Wolf. We'll do a show on the infield at the Indy 500 or the Snake Pit or something. It's actually unbelievable. I guess I'm calling Network Solutions. And other than that, we'd like to thank SG Fanboy for the great topic. Toby McGroby, thank you for the donation of free gifted membership. I hope somebody snapped that up. And Replayables is on in 2 minutes, so I'm going to get out of here. Let's see. SG Fanboy, you ain't lying. A random donation? Yes, a donation. Wolf, that's gross. Men rooms can get horrid. Oh, the snake pit the bathrooms at the Indy 500, you just didn't want to go into them. You hold it for 17 hours before you go in. Thank you for this one, Tom. No, thank you, SG. Thank you. I vote Snake Pit. Yeah, we'll do one. We'll do one closer. Well, the race is coming up. I think it's this weekend. So I guess maybe we'll do that Friday or something. And remember, next week, starting on Tuesday, shows at 8 p.m. Eastern, not 7 p.m. Eastern. And we may not be doing Wednesday shows, and Friday shows may follow the replayables. Right now, that's the plan. Amazing show. Thanks, Tom. Thank you. And I guess the only thing left to say, I really shouldn't call Network Solutions tonight, but if they have 24-hour service, I'm going to go ahead and do it. The only thing left to say is, till next time. Oh, watch Replayables, Levyverse right now. Till next time, we'll see you next time. Get out of here. Watch Replayables.